Hey everybody, Frank from Acacia Reptiles. Here today to talk to you about something that I think everyone wants to talk about. Cages. What's the best cage? Why do I keep spending money on tons of different cages? Why does everything always have something that's just not right? I can't find the cage that's just perfect. Well, today I'm here today to talk to you about a serious topic, and that's about what's the best cage out there on the market. Start by saying I'm not sponsored. I'm not been approached. I get no discounts. There's no links below where you'll get a discount on any of the product that I'm going to talk about today. It is a peer review on something that we've been using and I'm in love with for many reasons, of which I'll get into. But let's first start out by talking about some of the cages that are out there today, and I'll call them types of cages. I'm not going to get into any specific names or call outs or anything of that nature because I'm not looking to make any enemies. I'm just talking through. I've been doing this for almost coming up on 30 years, and I've used every single cage on the market, and every single one of them I find something wrong with that just isn't right until this cage here. So let's get into it really quick. First, the most popular, you go to every reptile expo, you're a new keeper, a long-time keeper, a breeder, you use them. The glass enclosures, even if you just want to call it a basic aquarium tank with a screen top, or the open front models, you know the brands I'm talking about, very popular, somewhat expensive, very heavy, easily broken because they are glass, but they're great. They open up front, really beautiful to look at. Some come with backgrounds, they're really pretty. They have the ability to put dome lights on the top or from underneath, so there's some flexibility there. Good ventilation. The downside of it though is they're heavy, they're very easy to break because they are glass, and they're very poor insulators. So if you're looking to keep your animal warm, you got to make sure that your whole room is warm. Same goes for humidity, might be a little bit too much ventilation. So that's the downside of the most popular out there, in my professional opinion. Next up, PVC, all the rage. Everyone's making them these days. Anyone with a laser cutter or a CNC machine or anything, even if you're a DIYer, I see tons of people on YouTube making these things. PVC is great. I think it has its place. I think that place is snakes, only for a few reasons. First of all, the most commonly used PVC out there is black, and black does not reflect light well at all. So you have these really dim, dark enclosures. No matter how much lighting you put in there, it's kind of meh, kind of dark, nothing reflecting. It retains heat well, sometimes too well, and I think that works great for a snake because if you're using a radiant heat panel or a heat mat underneath, it kind of keeps that heat in there, and you're not using heat lights or incandescent fixtures, spotlights, anything like that. If you start to use T5s or compact fluorescents or any incandescent bulbs, it can get hot in there really, really quick, and by doing that, that's a downside for me. If I live in upstate New York, it gets really cold for half the year. And even with that, the cages would get a little bit too warm and I'd have to constantly switch out bulbs all the time and play around with the heat, and just so not great. Also, ventilation, a lot of them just have little slits on the sides or the backs. I think there's a few companies out there do high customization or the screen top, but they're few and far between. So ventilation becomes a problem. So if you're looking for high humidity, high heat, if you have a reptile that's needing that, I think it's a great fit. So for PVC, that's great. The other downside, they're super, super expensive. PVC, the prices since COVID have gone through the roof. The availability is spotty at best. And the freight is just ridiculous. When we started this company, I bought 10 PVC enclosures. They had to bring it in on a freight truck and in pallets. It was just ridiculous. It was like buying one of those Freedom Breeder or ASR or ARS racks. Just ridiculous expensive. So that wasn't a good fit for me, personally. The other biggest thing that drives me nuts with PVC is the use of plexiglass. Plexiglass is the worst. For snakes, it's fine because they don't have claws and they don't move as much when they glass surf. It's just with their body. But if you own lizards, I think anyone who owns a lizard knows that they like to glass surf and scratch. And if you have pet plexiglass, it's going to be a clouded mess nightmare. No matter how much you clean it, you have to get special acrylic cleaner or filler to do it. It's just a nightmare. It's flimsy. It's not secure. It can crack. It can scratch. It's just the worst. But they use it because cut down on freight, and it won't break. So I get why they do it. But anyway, that's PVC. Next one, we'll call them Ben habitats. I've seen them recently. I've seen them in person, and I was actually intrigued. I almost got some for ourselves, just try them out. But again, I'm calling them Ben habitats, not what they're actually called. Not great. I'm sorry, but there's a lot of reviews out there. I think there's a few real reviews out there, and then there's a few sponsored reviews out there who got free habitats, and they are just so paper thin, very flimsy. They don't insulate well. I would get nervous putting any animal that has any strength in them. I think they could easily break them. They don't retain any moisture. They have all these accessories you can buy. They come in a ton of configurations, which is great. And I think there's very highly customizable, but they're just not the structure there. Very lightweight, and that I think comes with it. So not a personal recommendation of mine. Again, plexiglass front, so it's acrylic. It's just very flimsy, and they're very expensive for what you're getting. So that's my take on those. Again, I've never personally owned one. I've seen a couple in person, and I've talked to some people who've used them and are not really happy with them. So that's my take on those. And then finally, I would talk to you about DIY and or like wood enclosures, melamine. I think we've all taken a shot at building our own enclosures. If you're not a carpenter and you don't have some electrical or electrician person you can work with who's a certified electrician who can do all of that for you, I don't recommend it. It's just your animal's life and potentially your house or your facility or wherever you keep your reptiles could be a danger. So if you're making a custom enclosure out of wood, melamine, those are heavy materials. If you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to put cages together properly, they could collapse, they could break, they could fail on you. And if you have heating components and they're not put in properly or they're hardwired, that's a fire hazard. I've seen a lot of people lose collections in their homes because they had a custom built setup, and that's where the fire started. So, if you know, and if you're good at it, go for it. If you know what you're doing, by all means. But just for me, in terms of the costs, it's a lot more, you can save a lot of costs there, but by the time you start going out and buying the glass and the rails and all the custom fixtures, it can get pricey. So especially with the wood cost of wood these days. So, that's my take on custom enclosures. And one last one, really quick. I know I said that was the last one. This is the last one. There's some new small micro habitats or acrylic habitats out there. There's acrylic, and then there's the lightweight material that folds flat, and then you can pop it up, and it's got the sliding plexiglass as well. I think those are great for micro animals. A lot of this big fun trend. I don't know why. They're really cool to look at, but not great pets in terms of like anoles and all these rare anoles and small gecko species and small chameleons. I think they're really cool. They're amazing to look at, but I think that's where personally I would draw the line, but those cages are perfect for them. They're lightweight, they ship cheap, they fold flat, they have good moisture retention, they have good ventilation, they're customizable. I think they only come in a lot of smaller sizes though, so they're really meant for that niche market, and that makes sense. So I think those work for them, but anyone who has like a bearded dragon, uromastyx, ackies, any type of dwarf monitors, tegus, things of that nature, someone who wants something a little bit bigger, a little stronger, that's what we're talking about. That's who we're talking to today. So that's a lot. I said all of the things I'm going to say about those. If you have those cages, they're fine. I've used them for years. They work great. You all have your opinions. I have mine. That's just what it is. You know what you know. You like what you like. I'm talking to you today about the new age Ecoflex Mojave colored Reptile lounges. That's what you see behind me. That's what everyone asks what we use. This is what we use. I picked one up. I saw it on Amazon when I was searching for reptile enclosures. I'm always looking for a better enclosure because I'd always have some shortcomings with the ones we had. I went on Amazon of all places, found this, thought it was really skeptical, thought it was some cheap overseas knockoff crappy thing. I ordered one, the price is right, the shipping, it was Prime, got free shipping. So I went for it. It arrived 5 days later, three to 5 days later, I got it. It blew my mind. I put the thing together in less than 5 minutes on my first run, never done before. There's 4 steps in the directions, literally. PVC cages that I used to buy would take me half an hour to an hour to put them together with all the screws and the pre-drill and lining up everything and the weight, and it was a nightmare. This thing took me like 5 to 10 minutes. It's nuts. We're actually going to put one together at the end of this video just to show you how quick in real time they are to put together. And I was blown away. Put it together. It comes with tempered glass, real tempered glass. That's what I want. It doesn't scratch, it's heavy duty, easy to clean, really rigid. Don't have to worry about anything pushing through, trying to get it out. It wears well, even if some sand gets in the tracks over time, it wears. But it had glass in it, and it was packed in such a way that it was safe, it wasn't broken. We have 16 of these cages so far. Not one has ever come broken. So kudos to the team who figured that out. But they're lightweight. I can pick up one of these ones behind me empty, just one arm, no big deal, throw it up on a shelf. So they're lightweight. They're made of a really cool material. It's a lightweight hollow core. The frame itself is made of a wood polymer blend. So it's really strong, but the panels themselves are a little bit lightweight, but they're supported in a way or constructed in a way that they're very rigid. And that's huge. It's just a great cage. Cross ventilation on the side, open heavy gauge screen on top with the sliding front. So all the things we talked about of a downside at some of the other cages, this cage checked off for me, right? So we got the glass in the front is awesome. Love the front view, easy access, good ventilation, but not too much. But it is there because again, it's open, but that allows you to put dome lights on top or affix them like we do underneath. The material it's made out of is a hollow core, so it insulates just right, not too much, but not too little, like glass. Lightweight, so it ships cheaper. I hate not supporting local businesses and American-made products. I'm sure these are made overseas, and I'm sure they're coming from Amazon, but at the end of the day, it's a great product. Their links are below. Just search up the name. There's no company link or anything like that. They're all over Amazon, different places. They come in a 24, 36, and a 48. So they're like your standard 3 sizes. But yeah, let's take a look at them and see why I love them so much. So yeah, sorry to disappoint people that they're not made by some cool local hip new young company out of some city in USA. But at the end of the day, neither are any of the other cages you're buying for the most part. So check these out. Let's go through some of them, and I'll tell you why I'm such a fan. Okay, so excuse the mess. But I just wanted to show you, this is one of our Moroccan setups that we have here. It is, it's the winter, so no one's out. Lights are off, it's a little late. But just wanted to show you, this is one of the 4 foot by 2 foot by 2 foots. They come with this really nice billet lock, and then just a simple slide handles also. You can get in there, and ventilation slits on this side as well as the other side. And then up here we have a screen top, and this you can affix through the top. We have a LED, super bright LED lights and T5 in the back there for this setup, as well as 2 Acacia mounts for the incandescent. And as you can see, we bolted them right through the top, right through the screen, so they're nice and sturdy. All of this heavy gauge steel screen, really high quality, none of that flimsy screen stuff. Powder coated black. Again, just a real simple, smooth, heavy gauge, tempered glass. The bolt just sliding on, clicks, and There's your security. This is a active cage, and as you can see, we have a bunch of them here, and a bunch here, and we even over on this side, we use them for some of our bearded dragons. These are our last three bearded dragons that we own. But yeah, the neuromastics that we have set up here, you can see they fit right in those nice 4x2 racks that you can get at any of the big box stores, and they're just a perfect fit. Oops, looks like we got to put a lock right there. So yeah, so this is the setup for the cages themselves. Again, this is one without something on top, so you can see how we've attached them right there with bolts. We can attach them right through there so that they're easily, we just cut a small little hole in the back there to run the wires up through. That's just a couple of little needle nose pliers, just pop a little hole in the screen, doesn't hurt the screen at all, and then you can run them right under here. And again, same thing with the linear lights, the clips are right there in the back. Simple setup. You can use this 2 ceramics, so no worries about fire. Gives it a good distance spread from the basking zones. You can play with the different lights that you need. Ventilation, cross ventilation, upper ventilation, and then your lock and sliding. So really cool setup there. So let's put one of these together live time and show you how simple and easy these are to put together, because that is the biggest thing for me. All right, so let's get started here. As you can see, I got all the components laid out. Excuse the mess of the room. And this is as easy as I said before. There is just the bottom 2 sides, back and top, along with the glass that come shipped in the packages. Just these heavy-duty plastic screws that go in. You can finger tighten them, and I'll show you that tool at the end that you use to torque them down a little bit to get them nice and secure. But yeah, I'm going to do the rest of this cage in real time, just so you can see how long it takes to put together a standard 4x2x2 cage. No tools required other than just the small little gray hand wrench that they give you, and again, very lightweight. So yeah, start your countdown now and see how long it takes.